Oh, there is talks of sequels all over the place, from Spider-Man to the Batman, and we got new images for the Batman and Man of Steel, of course, if it was to be directed by Matthew Vaughn. And it's a little triggering. We're going to talk all about it. Stay tuned. What is going on, guys? It's Rob from Heroes Avenue, and in this video, we're going to, of course, talk about the new images from the Batman. We got we got a little portion of the Empire Magazine article that's dropping soon out, so we're going to look at that. We're going to also talk about Matthew Vaughn and what he thinks about where Superman is currently in the DCEU and how he would change it for the sequel. And I really have some thoughts about that. But before we get started, I am going to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home, and it does relate to the theme of sequels. So I will warn you, for the first 5 or so minutes of this video, there may be spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home, and you have been warned. So with that being said, I did shoot a review for this movie, and there was a corruption in the file, so I had to delete it. Anyways, I thought I'd talk about it because I wanted to address it, because it was such a satisfying movie. I enjoyed it thoroughly. A lot of things to love about this movie. I'll quickly go to what my Twitter, what I tweeted about. And I just put right here, loved hashtag No Way Home. A lot to say, but one thing that surprised me is that the action is nowhere near as good as the previous Spidey trilogies. That's not to say it wasn't enjoyable. And of course, if you saw it, there was a lot of enjoyable things. I did say a little bit more about the villain, and I said also seeing Dafoe back as Green Goblin makes me a bit sad that his role as Vulko in the DCEU will never allow him to shine like he does in the Spidey movies. Hashtag No Way Home. But going back to my first tweet here, um, I loved Spider-Man No Way Home for a lot of different reasons. The performances were all amazing, and it left Peter Parker in a place where he's a little bit more familiar. He's more of the character that I wanted to see coming out of the MCU. No more Spider-Man, or no more Iron Boy Jr., but more so Spider-Man on his own. Where they left it was very beautiful. Of course, the team up, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say too much, but the team up in the movie was amazing. But I did say, yeah, the action was a little bit lacking in terms of in comparison to the previous Spidey movies, and that leaves me to one Andrew Garfield, because uh, Andrew Garfield is a really great example of something where someone who didn't get the full backing of the studio or a full chance to flesh out a trilogy. Sounds like someone we know, right? Soups. But anyways, there is a lot of fan outcry for him to get a Spider-Man 3 after watching No Way Home. I will say this, and again, I already warned for spoilers, so I don't feel guilty about saying this. Just seeing him and the emotional beats he hit in the short amount of time that he is in that movie really makes you think that he would play really great with an Eddie Brock in the Sonyverse. Just give it to him, Sony. There's a lot of fan outcry. I would love to see it because I did love the Amazing Spider-Man movies. There's a lot of fans out there, including a lot of the Release the Snyder Cut fans, chanting for that online. And I think that's something where a lot of people who are against Snyder and for Snyder, they can maybe, agree on this thing, because Andrew Garfield was amazing, pun intended, in that movie. I do wish that we got a little bit more interaction between all the Spider-Man, a little bit more digging deep into their past and their future and their experiences. But I did think COVID had a lot to do with the limited filming that they had and scenes that they had. But anyways, I don't want to digress here. This movie was awesome, and there's a lot of fan outcry for a sequel. So I will say this: make a Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man sequel. And I also cannot wait for this next iteration of Tom Holland Spider-Man, because it did leave us in a really good place. So with that being said, without spoiling it in the comments, if you can, I know we're still in that kind of time frame where we don't want to spoil it for people. Let me know what you guys thought about No Way Home in the comments down below. Definitely, it's in my top 3 Spidey movies for sure. I don't know where to place it yet. But anyways, going on to number 2, let's check out some new images for the Batman and some new promotional material from the Batman. First off, let's go ahead and check out this little thing that Matt Reeves dropped yesterday, I believe. Check it out. I'm going to go ahead and play it right here. I don't know if there's any sound. I think there's sounds of rain. Yeah. How awesome is this? That you get the silhouette of Batman's head with a question mark outlining it, and the rain, the theme, the Batman theme, little cryptic message at the top. Oh man, how amazing is this? How amazing is this? This got me so hyped when I saw it yesterday. It's just what a great piece of marketing right here. And I saw it trend a little bit on social media as everyone was talking about Spider-Man still. But wow, just wow. I love this. I love this. And we also got a little bit of new pictures. So we'll go into some of the new pictures as well. And then we're going to go into the Empire article where Robert Pattinson talks a little bit about his role and where it would go. So bear with me right here as I check out some of the pictures from this movie. Here we go. So part of the marketing also is that if you go to this site right here, I think it translates to, I forget what it translates to. I think it's the bat or something like that, but there's like little riddles that you can play online. So here, let's check it out. So we got Colin Farrell. Man, that still doesn't look like Colin Farrell to me, but we got a little bit to look at, and you can still see the flash reflection because it's taken from the page, I guess, of the Penguin. We got Robert Pattinson. He doesn't yet know how to really be Batman. I did hear that we're gonna get only hints at his origin, but it's not an origin story. Of course, we got the Riddler. Wow, this is the most detailed shots we've got, and then I love this. Batman in the morgue with Gordon, probably analyzing some evidence. So we're gonna see them work together on this, and we've seen that in the little clips already. So this looks awesome, and I think we got a little bit more from the Penguin as well. So here's a little bit about the Penguin. Matt Reeves mentioned Fredo to me, or Fredo, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, crippled by the insignificance that he lives within in a family that is full of very strong, very bright, very capable, very violent men, which is why he commits the act of betrayal that he does, because he's weak, he's kind of broken, and he's in pain. There's a kind of fracture that at the core of Oz, which fuels his desire and his ambition to rise within his criminal cabal. Where that rise goes, I would love to get to explore that in a second film if it was to ever to happen. So it's an origin story for a lot of people. For Catwoman, we did get Zoe Kravitz mentioning that, but also for Cobblepot right here, and you know, there is a reason why this movie is going to spin off into an HBO Max show. So we will get to see more of Colin Farrell as the Penguin, and that is all very awesome. But we do have an Empire magazine, a little piece of it. There's going to be a full article that's dropping with all the details here. So let's just read a little bit of it, and we'll let you guys know my thoughts. As for Reeves, he's currently focused on The Batman, hoping to deliver a Dark Knight story that feels distinct to the myriad of others that have come before. I've only ever made each movie as a passion project, he explains. This even more so because when you know something has been done well before and is so beloved, you can't just come in and sleepwalk through it. You have to shoot for something. We're trying to leave our mark on this. And of course, we see the amazing cover that I think I talked about yesterday. And the light behind me just went off, so I apologize for that. So check out, what else did he have to say? Okay, here. It says, as for Reeves, he's currently focused on the Batman, hoping to deliver a Dark Knight. Oh, never mind, I just read that. Here we go. As the first standalone Batman in 10 years, the hope is we can lay a foundation that you can build stories upon, producer Dylan Clark tells Empire of where the Batman sits, which isn't to say that there isn't stuff planned on the fringes of Reeves' film. A raft of HBO Max spin-off series are in the works, including one set in Gotham, and one reportedly due to involve Colin Farrell's The Penguin. But if nobody's talking about crossovers or specific sequel plans yet, Pattinson had thoughts about where he'd take his version of Bruce Wayne in future installments to materialize. If future installments were to materialize, sorry, I don't got my glasses on. I've made a kind of map of where Bruce's psychology would grow over 2 more movies. He says, I would love to do it. So there's a little, sorry about not missing my place here, but there is a little bit of where Robert Pattinson is on the matter. While it is a standalone movie, um, he knows where he wants to take him, and that's awesome. And the curious thing is that we got a little bit of rumors reported earlier on that they were testing two different versions of the movie, one with a certain character, which we think is going to be the Joker, and one without. And I think the dilemma is whether or not they want this movie to stand on its own or leave a big tease for the sequel. And I'm more so leaning towards. I mean, I think there's a happy medium that can be made between teasing a sequel and also having this movie be standalone. And I think the first Christopher Nolan movie did that perfectly. Batman Begins. I think that did it perfectly. And there's reports here that the producer told Christopher Nolan himself, "We're trying to do better than what you did." So basically, we're trying to beat the Dark Knight, and I think this movie will do it. Christopher Nolan set the blueprint in a lot of different ways. There's other Batman as well, but obviously Christopher Nolan in modern times has created a really great Batman trilogy, and with him setting that blueprint, I don't think it's. I think he laid the groundwork of where you can go with this character. I mean, I see it here. I think this movie is going to be great. So props, and that's no knocking on Christopher Nolan's movies as well. Those are always going to be great in my opinion. I love all three of the movies, by the way. And I love the other iterations of Batman as well. But anyways, let me know what you guys thought about those images and the thoughts on a sequel. Do you think this movie should lean on leaving it standalone, or should it leave with a big tease for a sequel? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, let's move on to the third topic, and of course, it has to do with my boy Soups, Henry Cavill. I've been chanting on this channel for the longest time to give him his own movie, to bring him back as the Man of Steel for the DCEU. And while the cape is still in his closet, there's nothing that's been announced. Only time will tell if he's made any cameos. But so I apologize about that. Again, my camera has just been bugging out. Anyways, we have Matthew Vaughn, who obviously has directed and has a movie coming out in The Kingsman, or The King's Man, which I'm hearing is pretty good. But anyways, he had some thoughts on making a Superman movie. He's been wanting to make one, so let's see what he has to say. Here's the tweet that I put out. "I like his work, but keep Vaughn away from Superman, #DC. Let's go into what the rap says. So he apparently was attached to potentially do a sequel, or do a movie before Man of Steel was made. And he says, speaking with the rap in anticipation of the release of his World War I set prequel, The King's Man, Vaughn revealed he pitched a version of Superman before Warner Brothers made Man of Steel, and noted his continued desire to craft a colorful iteration of the DC hero. "I was desperate to do a Superman film, desperate," Vaughn confessed. "I pitched a big Superman movie before they made Man of Steel. I just got to work with Henry Cavill, which was lovely, on Argyle, and he's unbelievable in it. I still think there's room for a new Superman film, but a proper Superman film, a colorful, fun Superman movie, not a dark one." And Vaughn maintained that Cavill would go off and make a great Superman movie if given the opportunity, but confessed he doesn't even know who runs DC at the moment. The filmmaker went on one more candidly, noting that he feels it was a mistake to follow up Man of Steel with Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, which brought Superman and Ben Affleck's Batman together. "I just thought it was a mistake putting the Batman vibe into the Superman world," Vaughn said. "I just think they're two separate. They're just not relatable in any way. In my mind, it should be fun. I mean, look, The Dark Knight was obviously different. It made sense and it was brilliant as a film and as a comic, but Superman was always, I loved the Richard Donner Superman movie, and I think Wonder Woman worked because I think Wonder Woman was basically remaking Donner Superman in a weird way. Yeah, I love Superman." So again, he has created obviously X-Men First Class, Kick-Ass, Kingsman. So I am a fan of Matthew Vaughn, but keep this man away from Superman. Come on. Man of Steel is my favorite comic book movie of all time. And I want to escape this shadow that Richard Donner is casting on the superhero world. Like, yeah, it was cool for the time, but times have done changed. Times are not like it was back then. And while Wonder Woman worked, it did feel like it was sort of a copy of, or taking elements of Richard Donner's Superman, and Wonder Woman 1984 in more ways tried to continue that and failed. It failed. I do not want to see more of that. Times have changed. There's a lot of different things that are huge concerns for people in the world, and I think there are ways that Superman can be brought into a modern day and tackle those things. I spoke recently on a recent video about, hey, what other iterations of Superman could we see, storylines that would fit within the timeline of the DCU, maybe between Man of Steel and BVS. I thought a Superman for All Seasons adaptation would be awesome, and that could fit. But I don't want to see. I mean, again, I'll watch it if Henry Cavill is up in here, and if he ends up making it. Hearing him talk about it, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets Henry Cavill and a Superman movie. Hearing how he wants to talk about how he wants it colorful and fun and all that, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll watch it. He's a great director, but I want to see the Superman from the DCEU continue on his current path, either between BVS and Man of Steel or a follow-up to Justice League and what happens after that. That's what I want to see, because I thought the Superman we got was a Superman for modern times. And I know, yeah, he's different from the comics in a lot of different ways, but that's what I love. I love the comics. Go read some comics. I love those too. But I want to see, I did fall in love with what Zach and David Goyer, Christopher Nolan helped produce, created, what they created with Henry Cavill. Oh man, it's amazing. Now, let me know what you guys think about Matthew Vaughn. Would you want to see him take on a Superman sequel? Would you love to see it, or are you opposed to it? Kind of like I am. I don't hold. I'm not gonna hold you guys to it. Whatever you guys think, let me know. I'm kind of curious what everyone's thinking at this point. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry about the issue with the camera, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.